final for both of them. That's the prize on the line. Doesn't get much bigger than this. And it will be the American.
Navarro, ready?
The bright sunshine down the far end to get play underway.
That is a very impressive start. And you can already see here what she likes to do, control the center of the court with her forehand, make her opponent move and work.
The big forehand was a feature of Badosa's passage into the quarterfinals. Struck that well. Really made the difference in her fourth round victory against Wang Yafan. It was it looked comfortable on paper, 1 and 2. Laura and I did that match. It was actually pretty tight. It was hard work. It was a workmanlike 1 and 2. A lot of break points saved. A lot of long games. Navarro, of course, beating the defending champion Coco Gauff in the previous round on this court, incidentally. So we'll see whether that helps her settle in today. Start then for the number 13 seed. Let's quickly go down to Laura courtside. A warm welcome, Laura. How's it looking down there?
It's looking an element she can drop into the slice. And yeah, as you were saying, Lee, Paula had what was a much tougher match than what the scoreline suggested against Wang. So interesting one. Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Still calm down there, Laura, in terms of the wind. It's actually quite windy outside, isn't it? But it's normally protected down there.
Yeah, it doesn't really get down here. I mean, the stadium's so big. Sometimes, like last night, I felt like it was picking up a little bit more. But to be honest, it couldn't really be much better for the players right now.
Brilliant start for Emma Navarro, and from a game plan perspective, I think Paula Badosa will want to stay in those forehand cross-court rallies because Navarro has a great forehand, but she needs a bit of time on it. When she is rushed into that side, she will give short balls that Paula can attack.
Yeah, you were showing me an interesting pattern, weren't you, through the draw of where the unforced errors tend to come from. Navarro's side of the court. So you've got the data to back up the theory, Andrea, which is always good.
Yeah, I actually played Emma in the last year before I retired, so I knew a little bit of her game, and Laura is so right. She didn't play as pacey as she does now, not quite as much on the ball, but already there was the forehand, the side that if you rushed her into it, could struggle at times. She has improved that wing a lot in the last 12 months or so.
It's the grip, isn't it? It's just a little bit more continental than you might expect.
Those double faults and under some early pressure here.
Let's
and a second double. And that's another number that we would, well, it kind of jumps off the page, doesn't it, when you look at all the 8 quarterfinalists remaining. Coming into this match, she's hit 30, which is almost twice as many as any of the other quarterfinalists. So it is an element that we're talking about keeping an eye on today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Laura sent me a few very interesting stats that we can get into later when Badosa serves again, about her ball toss and how almost all over the place it can be.
Emma's coach guided her superbly up the rankings this season. I'm guessing, Laura, that's probably a pretty rough end to start serving from as well, in terms of the bright sunshine and where the sun is, maybe?
Yeah, she was already making some adjustments, Paula, and when you think about how much spread her ball toss gets anyway, not ideal, and you could just tell that she was looking up a little bit. Both of them, though, it's that difference between playing into the sun and then playing into the shade, and you've got to make adjustments as you go along.
Played in Rome this year. That was won by the Spaniard. 3 sets on the clay, of course, at the Foro Italico. Early stages of that WTA event. Forcing her to play an awkward volley.
Another aspect of her game, of Navarro's game, she has improved so much more explosive in her court coverage. You can see here a perfect start from the American compared to Paula Badosa's bit shaky beginnings here.
Well, a perfect start for Emma Navarro and all her fans inside this famous stadium. It has been surprisingly one-sided so far this court. In the previous round, that was a massive, massive occasion. Awful lot of eyes on that match. Packed stadium. It was Labor Day weekend as well, so I wonder whether that experience will help her. Confidence coming from knowing she can hold it together in the closing stages.
And again, she got away with it, but again, now you hear it from the coaching. Go for the forehand, a la derecha, because Laura was exactly right. Paula just a little bit confused in her game plan here.
14.
Oh, she's never going to make that serve. I mean, from down here, the ball toss would have been a metre in front of her on the first serve, and then just slightly further back on the second, but still way too far in front to go for a kick, which is what she's looking for.
It's a better serve. That will help her settle into this environment. The scoreboard moving. It's been
Navarro leads 3 games to 1.
fast start from Emma Navarro. Just a quick reminder to download the US Open app, where you can follow all your favourite players, track the scores, stats, all the highlights on there, player news, the schedules, of course, as we move deeper into week 2. And new this year, you can watch live 3D views of all the singles matches. That's available on the App Store and the Google Play Store. Of course, this is a bonus, isn't it, for Paula? After everything she's been through, she's spoken about that through the tournament, the chronic back injury that she's been managing, still managing. There were times when she wondered whether she could even continue as a tennis professional.
She got the depth there. I think that is very important if you do want, if we're talking about Navarro's forehand and saying it's slightly a weaker shot, it doesn't mean it's a weak shot. It just means you can get her, you can rush her there, but you need depth, you need pace. You can't just drop it in there. Badosa just struggling with her footwork here with those little adjustment steps that sometimes get off when we feel the nerves. Just a bit of tightness in the muscles, make them less precise.
14.
Some good serve numbers from Navarro. Barely missed the first serve. Coach has helped her through the dark days of that back injury, something that Paula has spoken about throughout the season. To let the overhead drop with the sun in her eyes. And her strong start continues. 4-1.
Navarro leads.
Let's see how she gets on down that sunny end again. She struggled initially, a couple of double faults in her opening service game.
15.
She's been patient, waited a long time to appear in another Grand Slam quarter-final back in 2021. That was her first at the French Open on the clay.
She just seems to be rushing slightly here, Paula. Still about 16 seconds left on the shot clock as she's stepping up to the baseline.
Yeah, good point.
Here again, just sets up for the next, tries to avoid any thoughts.
It's tougher for the Spaniards.
And when you are feeling this way,
30.
Emma Navarro is probably the worst player you can play at this stage. She's so solid, so stable. When you give her anything short, she goes for it. When you play deep and fast, she holds the rally, so she doesn't give you any gifts to just somehow get you into the match at all. Navarro doing a great job here.
Slowly but surely worked her way up the rankings this season. Started brilliantly with a title in Hobart, down in Australia, start of the year.
Game Badosa.
Two fantastic serves here from Paula, maybe settling
Navarro
in
leads
slightly.
4 games to
And
2. First
if we
set.
talk about the rushing that Laura just rightfully mentioned, the problem is these phases of nerves last 20 to 30 minutes before you really get rid of them. So if you rush, it won't be 3-5, it will be 2-6, 0-2 maybe. So that's why it's important to take your time, to breathe, go to the towel, and try to prolong these phases.
But instinctively, your body's telling you to do
Exactly.
the exact opposite.
That's
isn't
the
it?
problem. Never trust your instincts. Laura knows what I'm talking about.
Unfortunately.
Navarro's way at the moment, just catching the line with the inside-out forehand.
And that forehand down the line is such an important shot for her. That's how she can get rid of those forehand cross-court rallies. And we see it here. The longer the rally goes right now, Navarro is the one who is controlling those baseline rallies, changing directions before her opponent. Really playing everything on her terms.
Back-to-back Grand Slam quarterfinals for the 13th seed. It's been a terrific summer. Semis in Toronto as well, so she kept that form going in between the two majors. Not too far off the top 10 these days. That's how good the season's been.
Andrea, I feel like the retention goes to that position every single time. Deep to the forehand, but through the middle so that she can't straight away go down the line again, Navarro.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and first of all, it will give Badosa security because the target is big enough. And on the other hand, she will be able to control the next shot, which she hasn't been able to do today at all.
sets from the Spaniards.
You can virtually see the tension melting from her muscles in this point here. And maybe Badosa has just arrived on Arthur Ashe. Took one shuttle too late.
That reaction. First chance to break. Ice cool.
Deuce.
Maybe the biggest asset in her game is her coolness, her even-keeledness. Always seems to play with a cool mind.
Advantage, Badosa.
I'm starting to see a bit more change in height over the net from Paula. A bit more topspin on some of these forehands and just creating some time for herself.
Deuce.
She must feel like she's so close to just coming through this initial period of tension, maybe a few nerves as well. She can get the break back here. It's game on.
Smart serve into the body.
Advantage, Navarro.
By Navarro, who just seems to have a lot of clarity right now. She can feel Badosa raising her level, but she just seems unbothered.
Exquisite combination to come through a tough service game. 5-2. So 2-5 first set.
Well, let's get into it. Now she will rush probably, but yeah, she's definitely rushing. But let's get into her serve and the ball toss just after this point.
I've been waiting with bated breath.
It's probably a good time to do it.
This is a very good time. So Paula has this very high ball toss, which already gives her a lot of room for error. Just think about wind, light, sun. If your ball toss is very high, a lot of things can go wrong with it.
Oh, come on.
She's just playing so well right now.
Love 14.
We might have
Paula's already at the line. It's 23 seconds to go.
Yeah, 3 set points. Given where we are in the set, we might have to come back to the ball toss conversation, but it's a fascinating topic and obviously one that's relevant so far today. Set point number 2. 5 double faults in this opening set. Two saved. Just 2 of 9 second serve points won as well. It's been a problem area. No, just nudges it wide, and that's a set on the board for Emma Navarro. 1 foot in the semis.
6-2.
Well, we've been discussing obviously the ups and downs of Paula Badosa's game, but let's not forget to compliment Emma Navarro. She's not really used to this sort of stage, is she, in this stage of a Grand Slam? That's a very clean set of tennis she's played.
Oh, absolutely. And such a smart way to play, too. You can see it here. 16 unforced errors on Badosa's side. That's way too many. 5 only on Emma Navarro. But a lot of those unforced errors are coming because she's rushing, but she also feels rushed by the great game of Emma Navarro, who's been able to apply some variety as well as good depth, solid ground strokes, and going for her shots when she needs to. This was a virtually flawless set from Emma Navarro. She's just continuing to play on the same level she showed against Coco Gauff in the previous round. On this court right here, does not seem overwhelmed by the occasion or the crowd at all.
Katie Ledecky's in the crowd. They just showed her.
Yeah, that was the cheer, wasn't it?
I'm trying to find her.
Yeah,
I love her.
That went around as Andrea was taking us through the stats. Set number 2 then. First women's quarterfinal that are spread across 2 days. Bottom half today, top half tomorrow. Same half as the number 2 seed, Arina Sabalenka, these two players.
Again, the change in height was what won her the point from the beginning. Paula just opening up the forehand a bit more, the net clearance lifts, and then she's able to go fast on the next one, and that's when Navarro's rushed on the forehand. You can't just give her the same pace all the time.
She's so good, Navarro, when she gets that angle in good order, both off the forehand and backhand side, aims for the shorter part of the court, makes the tennis court feel very big by that.
So here we go, opportunity for Badosa to start on the right foot early in the second set. It's been one-sided today, the unforced error count. Oh, the backhand misses. So a first break for the Spaniard, just at the end of the first set when she was shown on the big screens inside Al Thrash Stadium. One of many superstars, VIPs who flock to this tournament. throughout the fortnight.
Love 15.
Serena Williams and Alicia Keys inside our Arthur Ashe Stadium watching the Navarro Coco Gauff match the weekend. I think Alicia Keys even got into the commentary box at one stage on ESPN for a couple of games. Hold here obviously will continue to help us settle. Just trying to build a lead in this second set to give her a bit of breathing space.
It was a great serve into the body. You could see how the ball continued to move after it hit the ground. Just caught Navarro offside. This is a big opportunity to put a little bit of her own stamp on this match now.
She does back up the break. 2-0.
And interestingly enough, Emma Navarro in the previous two rounds against Marta Kostyuk and Coco Gauff both times lost the second set, won the first, lost the second, and then of course went on to win the third set, but maybe just a bit of a letdown. She's played so flawlessly in the first set. Now a few more unforced errors.
It seems like she's dropped back maybe half a meter further back behind the baseline.
Ah, interesting.
Not in that point. Sitting on the baseline. Especially on some of the forehands, she's almost run it diagonally out to that side just to try and let it drop all the way, but then getting caught out playing it too low from that far back behind the court.
Do you feel, Laura, that has something to do with how Badosa has been striking the ball, or the height above the net, or do you think just Navarro here trying to consolidate the result maybe?
I think a bit of both. I think the fact that Paula's mixing up the heights, then she doesn't want to play it above the shoulder. So moving further back to let it drop, but also I think, you know, even without showing it, she's probably thinking about the finish line, and you default somewhat to how you played as a junior when you're a bit nervous, and that for her was a bit less aggressive.
Absolutely, one of the big improvements of the last 12 months was the court positioning of Navarro, who has managed to get it much closer to the baseline compared to a year ago. or even 2 years ago when she started to play a few tournaments on the WTA Tour.
That's impressive. Forehand return took my breath away, but still was able to finish out on top. Early stages of set number 2. Paula Badosa from Spain with the break, 2-1. It's a good start to another service game. Back end of the first set, Andrea, we were starting to talk about the ball toss and how problematic that can be. We sort of ran out of time because she was broken to lose that set. So let's have another go at it.
Yeah, because she was rushing. She, as Laura mentioned, she left 2 seconds on the shot clock and no seconds for us to analyze her serve. Smart woman. Doesn't want us analyzing her serve. We talked about the ball toss. We have stats that show that it's all over the place. Laura mentioned it a few times. Oftentimes it goes way up in front. That's why she hits double faults, doesn't get the kick because it's so far in front, can't get under the ball. That's one thing. This was a perfect example when she gets it right. Sometimes when the ball toss is really high, you remain so long in the trophy position that you lose the dynamic jump out of it and you lose energy, you lose power. This is 2 perfect examples when she gets it right. Paula Badosa, just think of an Alexander Zverev who also has had the high ball toss with the yips a few years ago, brought it back down, and now he's very impressive on serve.
What a game that was.
Badosa leads 3 games to 1.
She looks like a different player. The body language has changed so much for
against
Paula.
her forehand. When you're in the court, then the sidelines open up.
And we just heard instructions from Emma Navarro's box from her coach to stay closer to the baseline, not let herself be pushed back too far.
I mean, it takes a special person to take on that kind of information mid-match as well, given how high pressured the situation is. He was so clear with his instructions.
Slightly ironic that we were discussing the inconsistencies of the serve, and then of course, because that's what happens in commentary, she produces a best service game. That was much better, wasn't it? And helped to build the confidence.
No, but I think it was actually good that she had such a great service game because it just shows the potential of her serve. She is in the top 10 of the ace leaders on the WTA Tour. She has a fantastic serve. Just that ball toss sometimes goes off. And that's where she gets into problems.
push Navarro back.
Fight your way back up.
And another chance here to really take control of this second set. She's starting to turn this match around.
Today it's the backhand that is just a bit off.
Deuce.
To the forehand, we just saw the unforced error count 11 on that side today for Paula Badosa. A few less on the forehand side.
Advantage. Badosa.
Starting to draw a few errors from the American. Second chance. It's a brilliant combination going after the Navarro forehand initially. She breaks again. So firmly in control of this second set. This is switched around quickly. Double break 4-1 now. Starting to come out on top of those baseline exchanges on a more regular basis, Badosa. That's one of the reasons. Unforced error count starting to climb in terms of the Navarro missed forehands.
We're talking at the changeover about the change in depth from Badosa, but also it's getting hotter, so I think she's just getting a bit more work out of the ball as the court gets livelier.
Yeah, it's sometimes difficult, isn't it, to get a sense of the shape of some of those shots, especially from the traditional camera angle. Normally very high bouncing North American hard courts this time of the calendar when it is hot. Does that ball get up, Laura?
It's jumping.
Yeah.
And over the last few days I've heard that Jannik Sinner keeps requesting to play during the day because he wants the fast pace coming onto him, and he just feels like he gets so much more work out of the ball during the day.
Considerably bigger first serve. Combined with the forehand is a fairly potent combination. That's been the story of the second set.
Yeah, absolutely. Such an improved
Badosa
discipline and
loses
game
5
plan
games to
here
1.
from Badosa. It also
Second
comes
set.
with the nerves having settled, a bit more clarity of mind, a bit more calmness, helps the ball toss, helps the game plan, and helps the ground strokes. And the depth, Laura said it, a completely different player. Now it's all about Emma Navarro investing in this game so she gets an interest in the third set.
Let us.
That's the Laura Robson Old Faithful. Quick through the middle into the forehand, right?
You love to see it.
Out 15.
This will help steady the ship just a touch. Just try to get the feeling that it's competitive again if and when the third set does come around. Keeps the second set alive, but Badosa will serve for it. 5-2.
Badosa.
So serving for this second set, played a superb set. I don't know how many challenges she faced in the opening stages of this match. Good response emotionally as well, because she just looked a little bit uneasy throughout the opening set. No double faults in this set so far. Just tidied that element of the game up.
The ball toss on the ad side is not going anywhere near as far forward as well.
Whether Navarro maybe can apply the slice a bit more to disrupt Badosa's rhythm, because she has really found it in the second set here.
Well, if she drops serve here, this could make this second set a little more interesting. Chances now for Navarro to get one of the breaks back. And she does.
New
inside the stadium. Many of her fans hoping she can turn this set around now.
3 seconds.
Yeah, that was smart. Badosa had a lot of pace on those second serves, but Navarro just felt like on break point she might pull back, and she did. 82 miles an hour only. Navarro was there to strike and did so.
Maybe a few more twists and turns around the corner in this second set.
That backhand into the net we've seen a few times already in this match.
I feel like she doesn't need to play that one so open stance.
That's a good point, because it wasn't really far away from her.
And I'm watching her load so early on into the outside leg that then she's almost pulling across her body when she's in the motion, and her leg's almost getting in the way.
Let's second serve.
Inside our stadium, 5-1 becomes 5-4. One more.
Thank you.
Paula Badosa just waiting for the fans to settle. There's a different kind of energy and buzz inside the stadium all of a sudden, because the Emma Navarro fans are well aware that she started to turn this second set in her favour. Badosa 5-1 up, remember, now 5-4.
So smart, the change up of rhythm. We saw the short slice down the line, dragging Paula Badosa in, then a heavy forehand, pushing her back, eventually drawing the unforced error. Very smart baseline rally from Navarro to kick off this game.
8 points in a row for the American. In fact, if you go back to 5-1, I think I'm right in saying, just looking at the points trade, I think Badosa's only won 2 points since 5-1. Been one-sided games that have got away from her. And now the first double faults. Things.
You can feel it coming.
Yeah.
Again, 23 seconds right now on the shot clock. She's already at the baseline.
Some of the fans can feel them coming from time to time as well. Feel the tension. No, missed another.
Should have let the ball toss on the first serve drop. If she'd let it bounce, it would have been honestly 1.5 meters in front of the baseline.
15.
Remarkable how quickly Emma Navarro has turned this set around from 5-1. We're all level. It's game on.
5 games over. Second set.
And again, that even-keeledness, the control over her own emotions is what gives Emma Navarro the ability to strike at any opportunity that arises. She's back in this. That was a perfect example of what Laura Robson just mentioned with the technique of Badosa, opting for the open stance at times from the middle of the court.
Try to describe what it feels like as a player, Andrea, when you've, set's pretty much done, isn't it? Maybe you're starting to focus on what you need to do in the third set. All of a sudden, it's 5-all, and things must feel like they're happening so quickly out there on court.
And it's the only thing Paula Badosa will have to talk with her team about after this match, no matter how it ends. The rushing when she feels the nerves, it just is like a virus and infects her whole game. Now she is also rushing in the points, in the baseline rallies.
Well, this incredible turnaround continues. It's been so one-sided since 5-1 as well. That's one of the...
6 way, please.
These points must feel like they are passing by so quickly. I can barely believe we're 6-5. I mean, it feels like about 10 minutes ago, doesn't it, that she was 5-1 up in this set. Nothing going her way all of a sudden, and it's all Emma Navarro. She's getting closer and closer to the finish line. She's going to dig in somehow, find a way through this game. Struggling to process everything. Everything's happened so quickly in this second set. And here we go. Emma Navarro with a chance to finish it.
Wait, please.
Match point. Emma Navarro is a US Open semi-finalist.
6-2, 7-5.
What an incredible turnaround in that second set. She was down and out, 5-1 down. So quickly turned things around for the biggest win of her career into the Final Four here in New York.
What an absolutely stunning performance from Emma.